Alright guys, welcome to my little series for family and friends to see what I do when it comes to prepping my 223 cases for competition. This is truly the first step in the reloading process, and this is my 4-gallon bucket with my brass sorter trays. 9mm on the bottom since they're the smallest, 40 next, and then 45. And then what you do is you take your sorted range brass that you have collected, dump it in there, however much you feel like doing, and then you give it a shake. And what happens is, certain size brass will or won't fall through depending on what's going on here. So you can see I have no 45s or larger in that little bit that I sorted. And the next one is 40s. So anything that's a 40 cal will hang up top, including a 10mm and so on. And as you see, the 223s are following through, and so will the 9mm. So then I'll pick those out and put them in the right piles. And then anything smaller than a 9mm, 223 or 380 will follow through to the bottom, and usually those are like 22s. So most of this is good to go for 9mm and 223 and all sorts. So I have two case tumblers here. I have a Dillon Magnum FL-2000. This can do 2,000 9mm at a shot, or as you see, about 1,200 cases of 223. I have corncob media in here. That's exactly what it is. It's corncob chopped up. And then in here I have walnut media and my little RCBS tumbler. These guys are vibratory tumbles. I like to tumble my 223s in the walnut and my 9mm and everything else in here. And the reason why is I pick up a lot of range brass, and this stuff's pretty dirty. And then when you're all done with it, gets it real nice and shiny. And then what I would do is measure it out and dump it in, tumble it up. I'll show you what that looks like in a bit. Alright, so I'll show you the process here of tumbling some 223 brass. Each of these containers completely full is about 300. So I got about 500 total because there is a max capacity to what the tumbler motor can handle. What I'm going to put in is some metal polish here, which is a great tumble media additive as well from Lucas Outdoor Products. And I'm going to put in about 3 or 4 of these. That should be good. And then what I'm going to do is tumble this for about 15 minutes to get it mixed up real nice and even. With that turn. And we'll come back. Alright, so I let the polishing media or polishing compound tumble for about 15 minutes and then mix around real nice. Now I'll start to dump my cases. And then I'll let this tumble, oh, it depends. Depends on how new the media is. Anywhere between, probably 3 to 4 hours. So as I said, those cases will tumble for a few hours, 2 to 4 hours. It really depends on how new the media is. There's my ultrasonic cleaner. Then I'll do the same procedure for my big Dillon tumbler as well. And you can see sorting brass here. Alright, so I just finished tumbling my 223 brass for about 2 hours. 2 hours of plenty. As you can see, here it is, nice and shiny, as compared to, you know, a dirty brass. Look how shiny and polished this stuff is. So I'll mix these back and forth, shake, get all that media out of there. And as you see, it goes down into my little bucket. This is a brass sorter. I have 3 different sizes for different size brasses. And get all that media out of there, and then they'll be ready to be resized. What I have here for you is 100 sprayed with one-shot case lube. There's all kinds of stuff out there you can use. And then I have my single-stage RCBS rock chucker in there with my Lee Precision dies. And what this will do is it'll take this case, it'll deprime it, which means take that little primer out of there, and it'll resize. It's a full resize from the very mouth all the way down to the base. Show you what that looks like. And then I have my little buckets that I like to throw them in, and they're all labeled. So this one will say resized, deprimed. Slide it in there, pull her down until it cams over. And if I feel like I'm getting any resistance in terms of the resizing process, I'll back it out, throw that case away. That means the case is it's reached its life. Different chambers aren't quite exactly the same. Brass does wear out too, so when it reaches a certain point in the process, I get rid of it. So this is resizing and depriming, and I'll show you a before and after. Okay, so I don't know how well it'll show, but you're going to see these nice marks. It resizes the neck to the correct diameter, 224. Resizes the whole case too, all the way down through the shoulder and everything. So throw that one in, slide this one in, resize it, good to go. That's step one. What I'm going to show you here is steps 2 and 3. And I picked up these guys right here. Instead of using the RCBS primer pocket cleaner, I picked up the McJ Tools. They have a reloading tool that is a primer pocket uniformer and then a primer pocket cleaner. It's not necessary, but if you have any military crimped brass, it will take that crimp out so that your primers feed in the way that they should. So I have my 10 resized and deprimed for you. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So here we have stage 2. That would be stage 2. What I'm doing is I'm uniforming the primer pockets if they were crimped military, which would be the Lake City usually. Alright, then I might fill that up before I move on to the next one. But let me show you what the 2, and then I brush out the primer pocket. And you don't have to do this. You don't have to brush it out, but I do for my long range precision stuff. And I have in the past. You really don't need to hold there long. Stage 2, and then that would be stage 3, and I already have a big bucket ready to rock for stage 4, which is cutting, resizing. What I want to show you here is the cleaning of the primer pocket. So I uniformed the bottom one and cleaned it out, whereas the top one is not cleaned out. So you can it just gets that leftover junk out of there from a fired case. This is step 4 in my case prep process for the 223. I used to do it with the old hand drill. Decided to go out and buy a little 8-inch Harbor Freight 5-speed bench drill. Increased my output by twice. And that's it. That cuts the size of the neck, or the cases down to 1.75 inches. That's what we're looking for. And then I'll chamfer and deburr it. But I do have a new tool on the way that should do both of that. Excited about getting that. Alright, so in the last step you saw me cut the neck, the overall case length, to 1.75 inches. What step 5 is for me is using my RCBS case prep center is I will chamfer and deburr using these 2 pieces right here, and these are just the typical RCBS ones, so I'll show you what that looks like. Now if I wanted to, I could just simply chamfer throw them in here because each of my buckets are labeled. The camphor is very quick, the deburr takes a little more. So then I would take for my next bucket when I'm all done. Give it a little extra longer. Rotate. Wear a glove for grip, plus it keeps my hands clean. So that is step 5, deburr and decamphor. What you're going to see here is me trimming, chamfering, and deburring 5 cases. And it goes by feel. You can see that it is trimming, chamfering, and deburring it. Some of them you have to hold there a little longer depending on you know, how many times it's been reloaded. But check it out. It saves a great amount of time. 3 steps in one. There it is, the Giraud tri-way trimmer. Alright, so you've seen step 5 and 6. What I'm going to show you here is priming the case. This is the last step before I put powder in it and bullet. So I'm going to take my little cap here. I'm going to put the silver side down, gold side up. Push up with my knee since I am one-armed at the moment. Slide my case in there, give it a little push, pop her out. I like to put my finger, run my finger over that to make sure it's flush, that the primer is seated correctly. Grab my next primer, seat that in there, lift it up, slide the case in, push it forward, pull it out, check it. Alright, let me show you one with and one without a primer. But there it is, step 7. Alright, so the RCBS automatic priming tool in action. We have my once fired Lake City brass and then my primed brass in 2 separate containers. This is a pretty easy and fast tool to primer 100 cases fairly quickly. Push forward, pulls that up, drops the primer in, lift the handle up, put the case in, push down, run your finger flush across and seat it. Very quickly, in no time, get 100 cases primed. And that's it, RCBS automatic priming tool. About $110 online. Alright, so how do you load the tray for your primer tube? First thing you want to do is make sure that your little cotter pin is in there. Take your primers, open it up, put the lid on, flip her over. See how all the primers are face up. Now we're going to take it, put the lid back on, flip it over. Now they are all faced the right way to feed correctly. And then you simply take your primer tube, start pushing down and loading each primer individually, 100, silver side up, into the end of the priming tube. Alright, so after that, take your primer tube full, insert it into the housing here, pull the pin, primers will drop, and then you're now ready to go with 100 primers. Alright guys, what I'm going to show you now is the last stage for me in preparation to shoot my 223 in competition 3-gun that it is for what I consider long range, which is 300 and out for what I like. So the process is, go ahead and put your tray in there. Let your Chargemaster, for what I have, it's the RCBS Chargemaster 1500. It dispenses the powder that I need to the 1/10 of a grain. I dump the powder from the powder tray into the funnel. Then I insert my bullet, which is a 73 grain ELD from Hornady. Seat the bullet into the cartridge. Inspect. Check the calipers. Make sure it's at the right length, which I'm looking for at 2.25, and that is exactly what I have. So one more time, show you what that looks like. Dispense. Charge. Place the bullet. Seat the bullet. Done. Ready to engage targets from 3 to 800. The actual final stage for me when it comes to preparation for a 3-gun competition is to K-stage my ammo. So I will drop in my ammo into my EGW case gauge, make sure they're all flush and they fall out, and then I know that I have 5 rounds that are ready to go.